Rise up, gamers! Hello! Welcome back to the effing Gamecast. It's a lot more gentle than the effing movie cast.
We're a chill, welcoming, inclusive group here.
The only thing I have to deal with is Price's glowing radioactive blue room in this Discord call, but
it's good for the eyes.
I'm sure it's not.
The blue light filter glasses. If he wears them, he just can't see anything in the room anymore.
Exactly. That's exactly why I'm wearing them. Thank you.
I'm literally going to get new glasses because of this. I'm not even kidding. So
and we can't even be like the Always Sunny podcast and be like the creeps out there will see blah 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 because we have no creeps.
Audio. Sorry guys, you don't get to see our sweet abs.
But it's on YouTube anyway.
It's true. Where we could do visual, but we just didn't want to.
No.
We're your hosts, Dylan, Price, and Nathan. And today, we're talking about video games because that's all we talk about on this podcast. We are consistent. I don't know why you guys haven't figured that out yet. I want to go last because I think I have the least engaging stuff to talk about. So I want to let Nathan or Price go ahead and take the lead. Whoever wants to go first.
I've played 5 games since we last did this.
All right, gamer. All right.
Nathan is crushing it. He's previously the man who completes everything. Now, 100%. Now he's the man who finishes all the games.
Yeah,
he's the finisher. Some would say.
Well, so far this year, I'm hitting about I'm just about completing a game every 2 days. Which is pretty good.
That's like those book reading clubs where you try to beat a game or read a book every week or something.
Damn, man. I'm happy for you.
No, I am. I wish, you know what? God, I wish I had the time.
I wish I had the motivation.
I wish I just had the games I cared enough to beat that much. So
sorry, Nathan. We keep interrupting.
Yeah. Sorry, anyway, Nathan. We're on your.
No, I mean I agree. After getting back from my last trip, I was curious if I was going to lose momentum on the desire to do this kind of thing, but
he's still chugging.
He's doubling.
So far, so far I'm still going pretty strong. So since we last did our podcast, I think I had just been getting into Cadence of Hyrule. I'd only just started that.
And music sounds awesome.
So I've completed it now. It's super short.
Because it's a roguelike, right?
Well, I mean it is, and maybe on a harder difficulty, it would feel more like a roguelike. After the first couple of hours, and I not even first couple of hours, honestly, after the first hour where I'd found my footing on the pace of things and just the tempo stuff, I didn't die anymore. I completed the whole game in one run pretty much.
Okay.
And that includes the DLC world that had me concerned because I ran into the DLC world and was just oh no, is there multiple worlds that I'm unaware of? But no, it took about 8 hours to beat in total. Actually, probably even less than that. I don't remember for sure. Super short, really fun, great art style. I do recommend it, but you need to, when buying it, you need to be aware that it's a pretty tiny game that you're getting a hold of. It's very, very much an indie title. It's not a full release kind of game.
So we're thinking something along the lines of,
Brothers, Tale of Two Sons or whatever, or
for those who can't see, I'm gesturing. I'm gesturing over to
It's an effing podcast inside joke. Come on, all our 30 subscribers know what we're talking about.
That's true. Listen, you say that that's not impressive. So you're thinking Baldur's Gate 3, right? Something like that.
Oh yeah. Just quick in and out, just something to snack on.
Quick adventure morning.
Speaking of snacking on something, I also I bought the Game Builder Garage thing which is like a Nintendo like kind of video game design game.
Mhm.
Do you
I
design your own games?
You can, to some degree. It's like basically it's teaching programming logic to kids is what it ultimately feels like. I went through like the first design tutorial and built a game, and it was all right, but it holds your hand really hard. And also, I went online and like found a couple of games that people had created using this, and even like the best that people could do wasn't really that wild, so my interest on that was not very high.
Mm.
Right.
So I didn't even bother finishing the rest of the tutorials. I don't like I want to finish pretty much every game that I pick up this year, but
It's a good mentality.
it's
Yeah.
barely a game. I don't think it's going to be worth doing. So that one might just languish. Um, but the last couple of games I've got here, one really big one, Metroid Dread. Have either of you seen or played that?
Not for me personally. I'm not a big fan of Metroidvanias. Personally, I just hate getting lost on purpose. That's just me. But I know a lot of people love that game. When it
Mhm.
came out, people lost their minds.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. The sense of progression to Samus and like all the abilities you're unlocking, and the story also weirdly ends up being really cool too.
Hmm.
I will say on the front of like being lost, at no point did I feel lost. At no point did I really need a
Oh,
guide. Um, you could maybe sequence break somewhere, but honestly, it all flows in so well from one thing to the next that the only time you might get stuck is if you didn't see there was like a destructible wall or something
Mm.
like that.
Like
That's some
user
points where
error.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, is it user error if it's a secret wall that you have to go through
Well,
to actually progress?
and that's been my love-hate relationship with the Metroid games. Like, I think I played like maybe two. One of them was Metroid Fusion on the Game Boy
Mhm.
Advance or something like that. And I remember thinking
Yeah.
that one slaps. However, uh, it was one of the games where I'm like, I'm consulting with a guide
Mhm.
from every now and again because it's just like, I'm supposed to bomb what? How? Like,
I
and
get
it's
frustrated with those personally.
yeah,
Yeah.
those
Yeah,
those are a bit annoying. But the Metroid Dread did look really good. I just didn't end up
Yes,
picking it up.
yeah.
it's also pretty unforgiving, like as far as just its difficulty. A lot of the bosses take many attempts, and the last boss, I like I'm right at that point where I might just say, "Forget it. I'm done with this game." I have
Oh,
gotten to phase
dang.
2 out of 3 multiple times, and I just can't fucking beat him. And it's like I started going back and like collecting all the like energy containers and stuff that I had missed, and it's backtracking in Dread is an insanely frustrating process because a lot of what you do through the course of the game alters the maps in ways that it might be hard to backtrace. Like a lot of the paths that look like they should go w- on the map, once you like are down in it and doing it, you realize, oh, this is a dead end now.
Mm.
So very frustrating if you didn't like pick up everything along the way. Um, but overall, super good game. And speaking of good games, I also played Good Job. Good Job is a Nintendo released indie game, and it was all right. Have either of you ever seen that? It's like kind
I've
of
never
like
heard of it.
like a stick figure looking characters almost. Gosh, Portal is what I'm thinking of. Like the little,
Oh,
those little characters that they have like working in the offices and such in the little like videos that they make with Portal.
yeah.
It's like if that were a game and you're like driving around like trying to complete tasks in this office in really ridiculous ways, like smashing glass and like throwing things around and that sort of stuff.
Oh, this is ringing a bell now. Okay.
Yeah, it's like one of the things was like somebody grabbing like a fax machine and like pulling it on a rope and like building up a bunch of tension and letting it launch and like smash through a bunch of things in
yeah,
order
yeah,
to get
yeah,
it to
yeah.
where it needed to be.
How was
Like
that?
it was pretty fun. It was definitely more fun in the beginning and less fun towards the end because
Mhm.
they decided that instead of the progression in that game was that the challenges got harder and took longer and like required a whole lot more puzzle working. Whereas
Mhm.
what I think they should have done is that it should have just been new and interesting ways to like be fun and goofy and break stuff. But that's not the route that this game progresses with. So towards the end of it, you're just like, at least for me, I was just like, I just want to finish this game. Like
Yeah.
this puzzle took like 10 minutes, and that's really long for a level. And it's just not that satisfying to do. So, fun, maybe more fun with multiplayer, but yeah, I don't want to keep like monopolizing the whole thing because I've also been playing Luigi's Mansion 1, but I'm
Oh
working
my
on the
god,
last
you
boss
and
right now,
Luigi's.
so that
I
will
know. He bought a figure, man. He's in it. He
yeah.
is Luigi.
Oh,
Yeah.
and I've got Dark Moon, so that'll be I'll be doing that one next. But
All
anyway,
right.
I'll talk about that
Uh,
next time.
Well, before I'll eventually just ask you to borrow it to see what the hype is about.
I
But
know. I'm first. I'm first.
no, I just said it. I just said it. So,
No.
but Price, what have you been playing while you wait for me to finish Luigi's Mansion? Borrow my-
I have pretty much been playing just one game. Traveled over the weekend and been playing one game pretty religiously, and that is Fire Emblem Engage.
which is hilarious because you're Fire Emblem married.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
um, Man, it is definitely a return to old Fire Emblem, in every aspect of the word, for good and for worse. To be honest, the story. Nathan and I were talking about just a second ago. He's like, "Don't spoil anything for the story." And it's like, if you've played a old Fire Emblem game, you
You
know
fight
how the
the
story
enemy. You
goes.
beat the enemy. You may maybe you even get a girl. I don't know.
Yeah, so it is what you expect, which is not bad. I really don't care. But to summarize my thoughts, I really do think it's better, or I still think Three Houses is probably better. Um, in Three Houses, I felt like I really had a hand in making the students like it felt like the students had a predisposition on what class they should be, but you could class them into what you wanted them to be.
Mhm.
This one, it's a lot more obtuse to reclass your people,
Hmm.
and the units have a very predisposed way they want to go. Like if you remember with your main character in uh Three Houses, I think your main character was the only one who had like a unique advanced class. Like if you like
No, actually, a lot of the characters, like Adel, at least I remember Edelgard specifically had like the Empress as a
yeah,
class.
yeah, I meant the main character and then your other people. Yeah, like I know
Mhm.
all three of them have that. Like Dimitri has his own. He has Great Lord. Then the Claude has like a flying wyvern. That's his thing. But that was really it that I remember. And in this one, it feels like most of them have an advanced class that like you feel bad if you don't spec them into that, which is
Mhm.
very frustrating. And in all previous Fire Emblems, I've been honestly playing them since Sacred Stones, and the way you advance your proficiencies with their weapon type is to just use that weapon repeatedly. In
Mhm.
this one, for some reason, you the emblem rings are the big change. And Nathan, for you, this will make a lot more sense to you. It really feels like the sparks from Mario versus Rabbids, Sparks of Hope.
Oh,
They feel
yeah.
so similar to that. It's basically just this ring that you put on, and you get the help of some Fire Emblem protagonist from the past, and they help you do different things. Like Ike from Path of Radiance, he wields an axe, even though he's known for a sword. And that's really how you get proficiencies. So if you want to if you have a unit that's good with the sword, but you're like, I want them to also be good with an axe and maybe spec them into a hero. Then you would put on the emblem ring for Ike. You would level up your relationship with him by just playing regular Fire Emblem, and you increase your relationship like that. And that's how you get new proficiencies and new weapon types to that character. And the game does a very poor job of explaining it, and I didn't realize that till like chapter 10, which felt really bad when like you're trying to start when you get a character to really put them where you want to go. And also something that I guess I never realized that I didn't really like until I played Three Houses was that the old Fire Emblem, actually every Fire Emblem except Three Houses, when it introduces new units to your group, those units are pretty much the ones you use. Even though you have the ones previously that you could be using in specking, the new ones are just like better versions of whatever you can be, whatever units you had before.
Oh, you mean from Knight to like Dark Knight, or it'd be like Archer to
Kinda. And even if you do the math and you're like, I've been this cavalry, I've been trying to level up and become a paladin. Like I've been babying him, doing all this. I've been trying to make him a good paladin. But then you get a paladin, and it's just like you think like if I keep leveling the other guy, he's still not going to be as good as this guy. So I'm just going to drop him, who I put all this work into, and use this new guy instead. So it feels kind of bad to do that. I mean, now that I've beaten Three Houses 3 times, it just doesn't feel as good because like you really do form more of a relationship with those characters, even though I don't remember their names. That is true. It's still a Fire Emblem thing, but I remember there was like this magic unit from Claude's house that had ridiculous magic growth stats. So I played the crap out of them. But in this one, you don't really have that, so it kind of loses that. But
I think that was like Althea, not Althea. That's like a Final Fantasy card, but yeah, it was one of the girl ones. It was one of the wizard girls.
It was a girl. Yeah, I do remember, and she just wrecked.
Yeah, she was just a meteor.
Yeah, she was so good. But the production on this one, I think, is way better than Three Houses, which really surprised me. It does this really cool thing where if you play with the animations on where you go into full battle, if like your character is on the steps fighting somebody, when you go into the scene where you're actually using your attacks on the other person, it's has the background of like the steps and everything. Where before it was just like a pre-rendered background or something where it didn't really matter. So I thought that was pretty cool. And at the end of every battle, you can explore the grounds of where you just fought. So
now that is an interesting difference.
That's neat. Yeah.
Unfortunately, they don't use it to its potential. I mean, I feel like there's a lot that could have been done with that, but it is cool just to run around and see it. But the only way they make you do it is like they put some glowing stuff on the ground that you can pick up, but you see it on the mini map, you grab it, you move on. So unfortunately, they don't really use that too much. It's a not fleshed out enough mechanic, but it's still neat that it's there. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think I will really enjoy this, but it certainly does not have the replayability of Three Houses, which kind of hurts it in a way. Because I mean, I love replaying these. After doing Three Houses 3 different times, I thoroughly enjoyed that game, and now I realize how much I really liked it after playing this one more. But
so what I'm hearing is it's not better than Three Houses in any way. Get wrecked,
fucking Fire Emblem. Oh,
I know.
This was the right way to go.
I know. I'm surprised that I didn't think I'd be saying that, because a lot of people are saying like it loses the social aspect from Three Houses, which is not why I like Three Houses.
Well, you say that until it's gone, and now suddenly you're missing.
I don't miss tea time. I don't miss doing all that
whatever
shit that I hated.
I love guessing questions about things that they've never alluded to before.
But if I'm going to compare it to the old Fire Emblems that we've been playing, it's better than all those. But it's still not as good as Three Houses. I do think Three Houses was probably the pinnacle, to be totally fair, and why so many people got brought into the franchise.
Yeah.
So you think Three Houses is the pinnacle of Fire Emblem games?
Well,
what would you put above it?
I mean, I liked Fates. I think I would put Awakening.
No one will agree with you on that one. Oh, Awakening. Now, Nathan.
Awakening, I'll give you that. Yeah, Awakening's like the peak of like authentic Fire Emblem, right? Like the classic style peak to that.
Well, I mean, that's what saved Fire Emblem. I
Yeah.
mean,
Mhm.
Awakening was what saved the franchise
Well,
from.
we say saved, like they weren't going to keep making them because
No, they weren't.
I think they like them in
No.
Japan. In the West, maybe, but like I think Japan would have got ports.
I'm pretty sure even in Japan, like they were going to stop because like it'd been waning for so long, but Awakening really helped them out, and which is good. Nathan, you make a good point there. Awakening was
Yeah. I forget about Awakening.
something amazing, which I should maybe replay.
It just wasn't houses. I just
But to finish off my time, I am replaying Another World of Satisfactory, making a new factory with a friend of mine.
You're literally playing that right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm just picking up grass right now. It is probably my number 3 favorite game of all time. I love it. Can play it forever. Not much to add there. Maybe next week when I inevitably don't have anything to talk about because that's all I've been playing. I'll add more then. But Dylan, our gracious host that has graced us with his presence once again.
Yes.
What have you been on about? If you say Marvel Snap again,
Marvel
that's
Snap
all he's
just dropped
got.
a brand spanking new update just today, as a matter of fact.
Pew, pew, pew.
Leader just got balanced because Leader was getting out of hand still. So they balanced him to be kind of better in some ways, actually. Anyway, no, we're not here to talk about Marvel Snap too much. I will say they did.
If it's what you've been playing,
I've been playing a lot of it.
There you go.
But they did just recently put out the friendly battle mode, so now you can play against friends.
Oh God, you direct me.
So that's it. Now's the time to hop in. If you thought I only want to play meme jank decks against my friends who have way more stuff than me, that's it. Now's your time to come in. Plus a bunch of new arts, but would you really pay for a JPEG? You fucking casuals. Anyway,
You would.
I would, and I have. But anyways, no, I only pay for true cardboard art.
True plastic.
Yes. So I want to talk a little bit today about. I didn't so much. I love it whenever I don't have any new games to talk about per se. Here in about a week or two, I'll be able to talk about Hogwarts Legacy, and I'm excited about that.
Me too.
Oh, gonna give J.K. Rowling some money to fight the trans fight
No,
with?
we give WB money to continue to make bad DC movies.
Okay.
No, James Gunn might do some new ones, but this isn't the podcast for that. So anyway, So this week though, in Final Fantasy 14 news, because you think I'm playing anything else right now.
You know what? We need somebody to create some stability in this podcast. That's me right now. I'm in my comfort zones. But I'm going to play Dead Space soon, you animals. Stay tuned. Or it's going to be after Hogwarts Legacy, but stick around.
I'm wanting to play that too.
I'm going to play some Dead Space. We're going to finally play the Resident Evil 8 DLC finally, because I need to get back to that. This is going to be a crazy year for survival horror, by the way. I'm going to banter a little bit before I get to this 14 drama. I don't know if you guys know this, but this is an insane gaming year for survival action.
Callisto Protocol?
Trash. That was awesome.
Yeah, I thought a lot of people didn't like that one.
Yeah, they did not.
Which is why Dead Space waited till this year to say, all right, we're going to do a whole new year so we can get away from that garbage can. Dead Space dropped a remake. Resident Evil 4 remake, also coming out later this year.
Ooh, that's going to be hot.
We also got Sons of the Forest, which is a game I actually recommend us to go peek at as a group, because The Forest was a really fun survival co-op action horror game.
I never played that.
Oh yeah, just look.
I own it, and I never got around to playing it. So I mean, we could just play The Forest. I mean, it's co-op.
No, we need to play Sons of the Forest. We got to play the new one, Nathan.
Oh, come on! I already got the old one.
You got to spend the full price for it. You cheap.
Are not current.
Yeah,
we are not current.
No, the graphics look like fantastic in it. They give it I got like an AI buddy to help you do some of the choring. You know, because when you're going around like cutting down stuff and clicking and making your houses and your forest stuff and things like that, they have an AI buddy you can send to do commands to like go collect and go chop down trees and stuff. Ooh. Apparently, the AI is like super cool. Apparently, on that as well.
Pricey, likey.
Yeah, no, they have a lot. Like the game totally went under the radar for me. I didn't even know the sequel was coming out, but then I saw it was coming out here in February. I looked into it, and I'm like, holy shit, this looks amazing.
All right, that's going on my wish list right now.
Yeah, go on to that wish list. It looks great. Alan Wake, which for people who like that game,
I didn't play it. That likes that game.
I can't say shit about it. I didn't play it. I won't lie to you.
Well, no.
But, yeah, there's a lot of pretty solid survival horror ones. Get the fuck out. GTFO, the game itself, is another really fun one. You guys don't know about that? It's a co-op indie survival horror one where you're trying to just get the hell out. Like your job is to like each level is to go find like a key and open the door or something. But then there's a bunch of like crazy nonsense things that try to kill you. But anyway, so survival horror year is really coming in strong this year. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the horrors of MMORPGs, and we're going right back to Final Fantasy 14 now that my build up is done because I've got 10 minutes. I got to use it.
So, recent news, if you guys didn't know,
I
Final
didn't.
Fantasy 14, as I mentioned the last podcast I was on, had put out an update where they dropped Nafika and all the busty waifus and stuff. So
I remember that combo.
Yeah, they did the update of their updates because you have your 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, 6.3 just dropped. And that gave us the Omega Raid Savage difficulty. So for
Omega Raid.
For those who don't know, just imagine like a regular raid. Now this is an older raid, but what they'll do is they'll go back and they'll do the regular raid when that initially first comes out. Then they'll come back, down the cycle, usually a couple expansions from go, and they'll do an extreme version of it. And that's for all the hardcore gamers out there. So, and then what they'll do again is they'll go back a second time and they'll give you a Savage difficulty one.
Savage.
So right now, in the Final Fantasy 14 community, there is a race to be the first group of people to figure out and beat the raid. It has been going on for about a week or so plus now. None of the pro gamers have broken it yet, except they did. One group from Japan called Unnamed recently announced that they had beaten the raid.
It took people a week to beat it.
It was like 2 weeks.
I feel like WoW's had that too, where it was like it was a while before a raid would get cleared.
I don't know too much about WoW, but I know the Final Fantasy 14 fan base is insane, and it is amazing that it took that long.
No, yeah, like it is. These raids are like sincerely very, very hard. And the Savage one that all the pro teams and stuff are working. I say pro teams, really just groups of people who are like big raiders. Go in to do the stuff, grind the grind, as you always have with the MMOs. So Japan group recently beat the raid. And then word got out that they were using third-party tools not encouraged to help them do the raid. Uh-oh.
Third-party tools. Now, they put out a statement shortly afterwards, which is fairly accurate, according to at least the Final Fantasy shitpost 14 Reddit, which said that...
Where you get all your news.
Yeah, well,
good source.
You have the main one, then you have shitposts, and I just like shitposts more. But so effectively they put out a headline saying that, yeah, we did because we didn't know that effectively that we shouldn't. All the other pro raiders all use third-party tools, so we were doing that to keep up.
So are these just like UI mods or something more extensive?
Truthfully, I haven't done the full research to see because I've never added a third-party tool to it.
Really?
I've always thought about it, but I just never saw the need. I really haven't.
It's very needed in WoW. Like you pretty much have, like you always have UI mods and like threat mods and.
For like the big raids and stuff, I could see for sure, but I'm not a big raider, so I could definitely see the argument for it. But Square Enix's official stance has been that they don't support the use of it, but they haven't outright banned it. Occasionally they will ban an account for it or something like that. But in this specific instance, now the group had been caught on a wide scale. It apparently even made Yahoo News for whatever that's worth.
Oh my God.
In Japan, that's pretty big. Yahoo's actually really big in Japan.
Yeah, so the Japanese players from the group Unnamed have decided to seppuku their characters.
Really?
They said, okay, we do, after following what I think I heard was like a server ban for their stuff, for their online characters and stuff like that anyway. But they went ahead and said, we're going to delete our character entirely.
Oh my God.
Because that was if I'm going to be a little biased here, it's a little Japanese culture, if you will, that you die on the sword that you train on. So the hunt begins again for the raid to be completed. We are still waiting to see a group fully completed, natty, if you will. That's all natural for your bodybuilders out there listening to our gamer podcast on Discord right now. But the hunt continues. They have deleted their characters, which is pretty fucking nuts to me. But
it is.
You know what? That's gamers, buddy.
Did
That's gamers,
they
but that's
like delete their characters in order to like come back and play fresh and be able to like claim a clean
and
victory?
most likely they're coming in and making a new character to come play again, you know. But I mean, whenever they do that, they lose all of their old you know, they don't inherit anything from their old content.
Yeah.
You know, they don't inherit any gear, their old gameplay, their houses, their 1.0 exclusive stuff if they've been playing since, you know, the very beginning
My
of this game
God.
subscription. Like that's a lot of time, energy, and money to throw away.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
is.
they can grind the game back out, I guess, if they want to, and that's probably the type to do so. But I still think that's like, wow, how much you're missing from deleting your character on an MMO.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, that that seems a little unnecessary
Much.
too.
Yeah, Japanese, man. That's the culture. But that's some juicy drama that I felt like sharing because I thought that would be a fun little topic. Game relative news. If I don't have the games, I do have the news.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting. I think collectively the idea of doing like this long hunt or raid to sit there and have the people break it down and finish it. I think that's just fucking cool in general. I think that's like actually like that's you want to see something on TV like in 2040, like that's what I want to see. I want to see like Raid Watch, Omega Savage Raid Watch on like Channel 7.
I mean,
like,
it's
that'd be
pretty popular to watch like the race
Oh,
to world
streaming?
first.
Yeah, world first.
There's a friend of mine that he is taking off of work to when the new Destiny raid comes out. He's taking a week off of work to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I'd
Well-
rather put a bullet in my eye.
And
Oh,
I don't care at all for Destiny 2, but I do hope that this DLC performs well because it is on my fantasy draft. So,
oh yeah, we're possibly gonna do that.
yeah, we'll get around to that. But if we don't get around to it soon, we're cutting out all these little juicy titles we could have under our bundle here. So,
Okay.
oopsie daisies. February has a couple of decent releases. Sons of the Forest.
Oh yeah, it
Hogwarts
does.
Legacy, a couple of these other ones. So, we're losing good picks by the day. But on that note, that's our show for this evening. If you like the content we keep putting out, make sure to give us a big old heart or thumbs up. I would hit the bell, but he is literally in a different state for me right now. So that was a smart move.
Just to get away from you.
I'll see if I can't get him tomorrow. Stay tuned. If you like our other content, our movie content, we're going to be dropping. I don't know what would correlate with the release of this. So I'm going to say Jojo Rabbit or something that came out forever ago, I
It's
think.
definitely not JoJo.
I don't know what it is. Whatever's coming out around the time that this comes out, yeah, go check that out. Go give us a heart. Go give us a heart. Go give us a like. Go give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments below if you would delete your character if you were caught not being a natty raider.
All natural.
All natural rating. But anyway, guys, that's our show. Make sure to tune in next time. And,
Correct.
And then we will catch you then.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.